Hello my fellow hunters, in this video I show you the skill priority or the skill efficiency for the skills. I did previously a skill priority compilation, but that was a little bit kinda messy because, for example, if you have burst as skill, so burst is very efficient as you have level 1 and level 3, but level 2 is really bad. And I previously did the other skill priority list, which I want to show you in a few seconds, which is here. SP skill priority, that was the one I did previously from the game version 11, and I think I should also hide this, but because it makes, for example, you can see here, chain crit or so, if you have it only level 2, looks better than it is actually. And I think these numbers are very realistic, but I still saw a lot of users that said they preferred the way how Dreaming Sun Tide calculated is. So I didn't know whether I can found this here. So this is a spreadsheet made by Dreaming Samtide, and I'm using this as template for my calculation because he calculated the percentage values when a specific skill got increased from a certain level to another level. So I like this sheet, but in my personal opinion it is kinda hard to oversee all this stuff, and I want to make it a little bit more clearly with some bars and some ordinary stuff. And I show you how I've done it. I don't want to spoil you first of all with all the data, so we're gonna do that step by step, and I explain you the skill priority. Just go to my spreadsheet to go to priority stacked. Currently on my spreadsheet I added a new skill efficiency topic, and I just written here that it is currently locked to the spreadsheet webpage, and I'm gonna later do this after my YouTube video is uploaded and you have seen it. Otherwise, if I just drop it here, nobody watches my YouTube video and my completely work was useless because yes. And that's the reason why I first show you this as YouTube video before adding it to the spreadsheet. We just go to priority stacked. So I didn't know whether it's well pronounced for the English language. First of all, these are the stuff I've used as base templates. I also used a lot of compensation stuff shown you later. But yes, all that calculation was only made for elemental fields and exhaust fields. The reason is elemental fields are meta. 80% of the weapons which elemental field are meta weapons. There's only one weapon which is a meta weapon with a power field, which is the Aura Siana or the Lunar Garon Switch X, which are both power fields, and they outdamage the Lagombi Switch X by far. Yes, but it's the only scenario, so I mainly do this for the elemental switch axes, and I'm using a space true raw 322 raw with 70 element and purple sharpness. These are the average hit zones I've used based on the calculation. A 60 raw hit zone value with 25 element counted as 50%, a 45 hit zone with 20 elemental hit zone value counted as 25%, and a very bad hit zone 30 with only 10 elemental raw hit zone value counted as 25%. So we come to an average raw hit zone value with this slice a bit about 50 or so, I think, and average elemental hit zone value is 20, but in real it's slightly more, but yes, don't want to see all the stuff. Here are the base compensation stuff I've used for, yes, when I'm trying to figure out some stuff with critical boost. You also have to add some crit, otherwise you got garbage numbers. So yes, so here are the stuff. First of all, as just mentioned here, don't use this for power files. All this calculation only for elemental files. It will be a lot different for the power files. Yes, and let's gonna colorize this a little bit black with white and make it fat. Okay. So you have seen I've also used some compensation stuff and max it. This is the amount of percentage your DPS get increased when you're using all levels. And these are the specific efficiency by skill levels. So you can see at the most time the first level of a skill is very good and then it got more average. And sometimes I think for Sunbreak, specifically for Sunbreak skills, the most time the first level is very efficient and the third level is very efficient if there are max 3 levels. So you can see here for attack boost we have maximum 7 levels, and yes, the most efficient is currently attack boost 4, because from 3 to 4 you got an increase of, or in comparison to the other ones, you got a damage increase of 3.38%, which is absolutely insane. It's like anti-deco, so absolutely you should aim for attack boost 4, which is absolutely insane. You can also see attack boost 5 isn't that good, so you can see even slice some in more elemental attack is even stronger than go for attack boost. Very nice comparison here. For example, you can see going from elemental attack 3 to 4 is more worth it than going from attack boost 4 to 5. So that's the thing how this table works. And you can see here, for example, elemental attack 2 is completely useless because you didn't gain any percentage multipliers. Yes, and elemental attack should absolutely be maxed out because you get that percentage 20% percentage element. And for attack boost, yes, you should either aim for 4, I think, or 6 or 7. Attack boost 4, 6 or 7. 5 is useless. Yes, protective polish is a kind of feeling. I added a explanation here: 2 out of 3 purple of the uptime and 1 out of 3 white. So you can't really say how much good protective polish is because it depends on the weapon. So if you play Ibushi with Grinder S, protective polish is absolutely necessary. In the other case, it would be about 20% or other stuff. So you can see here, for example, for protective polish 3, I calculated with 20% blue, 70% white, and 10% purple to get a realistic uptime. So at the end of the day, you can say if you're using a max out protective polish, these are the maxed out values. If you're using max out protective polish, I should also mark that stuff a little bit more fat now. Yes. So you can see here, for example, yes, if you max out attack boost, it is a 10% DPS increase. If you max out elemental attack, it is 6.3% DPS increase. And if you have even more than the 70 here, so if you have also some augment, or you get 85, it is more than 6. It maybe goes up to 8 or 9% DPS increase. Yes, you can see here protective polish is kind of feeling. I think in my personal opinion it is about a 10% DPS increase. So I think it is protective polish maxed out is same level as maxed out attack boost. This is really strong for Switch X. It's absolutely must have skill. I didn't calculate it for handicraft, but it's kind of hard to say because every weapon has different sharpness grades and it's very hard to say. Yes, for rapid morph, I only calculated for the grounded playstyle, so you can see these are insane numbers. There's a rapid morph level 1 is even stronger than, let's say, attack boost 4. Because if you sum that stuff up, you maybe can get up to 4. So for example, the rapid morph 1 is same as level 4 attack boost, but I'm going to explain that later to the graph I've made. You can see here critical eye is absolutely useless. Only if you completely max out critical eye, it is 3.54%. And this is absolutely choke. I don't recommend to use critical eye at all. All calculation was made for mixed playstyle. Yes, and it's absolutely not worth it to invest in critical eye. Because there are so much other skills that are more worth it. Yes, weakness exploit, very efficient. So in my personal opinion, I would say a skill is efficient if it's 1.0 or higher. In this case, if it's 1.0 or higher, I would definitely aim for it. But if it's below, I didn't really recommend it. You can see weakness exploit level 2 isn't very useful, but yes, or very efficient, but level 3 is better because you got 15% more additional. At the end, you can say it is about 3.77. So I would say if you have, for example, a level 3 skill and the max DPS increase is about, let's say it's about 2.5% or higher, I would recommend to definitely use it. So you can see here critical boost also isn't very useless, only about 0.6% damage increase per level. As compensation I use the weakness exploit free base. So for all the people don't touch in the comments say, critical boost only gets good when you have some crits. So for the compensation you can see here I use the wax free base. Same for critical element, which is absolutely useless. So you can see here only 1% DPS increase for 3 levels is absolutely not worth it. So you can put that skill in the trash can. Now to dereliction, one of the best skills, I think the best skill in the game. So you can see here for dereliction, element also is very good, but if you go for dereliction you absolutely should aim for the blue scroll, which gives you a 5% DPS increase, and the other 2 levels are not really worth it. You can go for them, but it is not really that efficient. So if you use dereliction, I think it's enough to aim for the first skill. So things become different if you use Smell of Hellfire. Smell of Hellfire is stronger than dereliction. You can't compare it with resentment, but yes, you can see here also the element version at level 3 is insane. Smell of Hellfire level 3 gives you 20% additional elemental attack, increases your DPS if you have it maxed out to 5%. So if you go for Elemental Fial, Mail of Hellfire, the Elemental version out damage raw at the 3rd level efficiency, but in general, for general purpose, it scales better with attack. So there should not be really a case where you should use element over attack, because if you see the sum of the skills, the thing is level 3 is very efficient, but the first 2 levels are very kinda trashy. So for Mail of Hellfire you can see, yes, you should aim for raw because it has 8% DPS increase instead of just 5 for element. Element exploit, only the first level is useful, the other 2 levels only give you DPS increase about 0.5%. And I calculated with a 75% trigger rate, so elemental exploit is not all the time triggered. So for example, if you're fighting a monster with high elemental hit zone values, this value here is, or these values are even higher, or maybe go up to 5% DPS increase. For burst, the 1st and the 3rd level is very efficient. And you can see the overall DPS increase is 9%, which is same level as attack boost 7. So burst level 3 has the same strength as attack boost 7, and you should absolutely max out burst. And the reason is, I know most users say don't use burst level 2 or level 3 because only 1 is the best. Yes, level 1 is completely insane, but also level 3 is still very, very useful. You can see the 3rd level is even better than the efficiency of Mail of Hellfire or Dereliction. So in my opinion, you should absolutely aim for burst level 3. Because if you sum that up, it is absolutely crazy. Okay, so if you only use burst level 1, you only have 5%. But if you max out to 3, you get up to 9.1%. That is the thing you should aim for. For the blessings, I didn't really recommend it, because the first 2 levels are very weak. For Stone Soul you can get a 3rd level, but it isn't really worth it. So yes, I didn't really recommend to use TU Blessing or such skills. They are not really that efficient. Next skill is Agitator. So if you use Agitator you also use Embolden. So this is very solid. I think this is, yes, all stuff are more than 1% per skill. So I think you should absolutely can snipe for this. If you have maxed out Agitator, it is 6% DPS increase. Most efficient levels are level 1 Agitator and level 3. So it's very useful also to use only level 1 Agitator, or it's very important to go for maxed out Agitator instead of just Agitator 3 or 4. For peak performance, 3rd level is absolutely by far the best. You should use Blood right if you want to use peak performance. For resentment, it is kind of average, but the level 3 and level 5 isn't that useful, so you should aim for level 2 or level 4 because they scales best. For Resuscitate, you should use Bubbly Dance or Bloodlust for that skill. This skill is extremely powerful. I highly recommend it. So I think you should use Bloodlust, Coalescence with Resuscitate over Dereliction, maybe level 1 with Resentment, because you get very, very spicy multipliers here. Latent Power never was really a thing, all values under 1, so I didn't really recommend it at all. Coalescence is extremely strong at level 1. In my personal own builds, I also always most time use 2 levels, but yes, level 1 is absolutely must and incredibly strong. For Bloodlust, the 3rd level is kinda useless because it doesn't give you additional affinity, so you absolutely should aim for the 1st level, which gives you 20% additional affinity, but affinity doesn't scale that bad like the other skills. Build-up boost for status, like the Teostra Switch X, you should use at least 1 level. I used 1 out of 3 trigger rate because status is RNG, and I think every level is good because every level is more than 1, so at the end it's 5% DPS increase, very, very strong. And now build-up boost for the Exhaust Vial. You should absolutely use maxed out build-up boost if you're using an Exhaust Vial, because Exhaust isn't RNG and it got applied to every single hit. Adrenaline Rush with a 100% trigger rate. You should use Embolden and some evade window skills for that. Level 1 is very, very strong, and level 3 always. And the thing is, if you use Adrenaline Rush, you should absolutely max it out because you get, I think, it has the best multiplier by 4. Level 2 is kinda useless, so you should either aim for level 1 or level 3. For Foray with a 70% uptime, I did some analysis from my runs, and I think about 70% if you have a decent poison build. The monster is poisoned about 70% of the time, and kinda level 2 is kinda useless, but kinda level 3 is very strong again. So in my personal opinion, you either should use level 1 only or max it out. Now we come to the most interesting thing. I have to minimize that a little bit. So this is the tab I'm gonna using then in the Google document. This is a lot easier than the table. I didn't edit the percentage values here again. You can see here all the blue stuff is the 1st level, the 2nd level is red, the 3rd level is orange, the 4th level is green, and so you have a very, very good comparison. So for example, if you want to just look for the best skill level 1, excluding the status stuff, which we don't use on elemental files, by far the strongest for level 1 is Burst. You can see here it is about, let's say, 5% DPS increase only for 1 level. And yes, the Reliction also very strong, also about 5%. Rapid Morph about 4%. But I kept this sheet at 10%, so you can see, for example, for Rapid Morph, it is maxed out at the DPS increase of 23, which is absolutely superior. So it's completely insane, and you should always max out Rapid Morph. So this is kept. Yes. Same goes for Attack Boost, which finishes here at the last line, which is about 10%. So this is a very good compensation line for maxed out Attack Boost, which is 10% DPS increase. Yeah, so you can see here, for example, like the level 3 is very useless, but level 4 is very superior again. So you can very good compensate some stuff. So maybe you want to calculate burst with coalescence. Just go here to burst and check the levels, and then go to coalescence, which is here. So you can say coalescence level 3 is same energy as burst level 1. So this is a very good for comparison stuff. Or maybe what are some other skills that are kindly used? I think a very good comparison is if you compare Agitator to Attack Boost. So you can say, for example, Agitator level 2 is stronger than attack boost level 3. And Agitator 5 has the same strength as attack boost 5. So this is a very useful table you should consider. And also another thing, maybe for elemental attack. Let's check here, elemental attack. You can see elemental attack is stronger than weakness exploit, a lot stronger. So a funny thing is elemental attack 4 is stronger than weakness exploit 3. And you can see also here critical element is the worst element ever, and critical boost is for elemental fields maybe not the best. You can choose. You should maybe aim for some other stuff. Otherwise, if you have a powerful vial, crit boost goes better, but it isn't really competitive. You can also see here how good Bloodlust level 1 is, very strong, but Coalescence also absolute insane skill at level 1. And that's the reason why you should always pair Bloodlust with Coalescence. They are an absolute insane combination. Okay. Yes, that were just a few explanations. Like you can see here, Element Exploit, level 2 and 3 aren't really that efficient, and level 1 of Element Exploit, for example, is better than Crit Boost 3. So here I can do that comparisons all day long, and for Handicraft, the damage increase is about 10%, I would say, or 15%. If you use it. It didn't include Handicraft because it's hard to say. Yes, just some number slap in the face. Hope can see you next time. Thanks for watching. See you next time, guys.